Bringing a child to this world is one of the most generous things anyone can do. And I'm not talking about the delivery, I'm talking about everything that comes afterwards. Now, we all know that. But what's interesting is that it could also be the best thing that happens to your career. Now, you may be wondering, how do I know that? I'm a man, a father at the most. Let me tell you the story of how I came to that conclusion. Many years ago, I started a social media agency. That's the kind of company that helps other companies manage their presence on social media. Social networks like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn. Now, at the time, it was something quite new. So my partners and I had to go out and find the right people for that position, what we call social media management. What's interesting is that once we had the first batch of employees in our office, my partners and I were sitting around and we looked around the room and we noticed something very interesting. The majority of our staff were women. Now, at first, we didn't think much of it. We really didn't go out and try to find women for that position. It was just the way it happened. We thought maybe it was a coincidence. Maybe it was that they were better at this position. This was new after all. But we didn't think much of it at the time. Right at around the same time, something else magical happened in my life. Over the course of 16 months, my 2 daughters were born. Now, fatherhood changes you. You know, your priorities change. And so my habits changed with that as well. One of the first things that happened is that I stopped going to the office as often as I used to. Now, I was the boss. It was my company, so nobody had any complaints. But I wanted to be home. I wanted to be close to my kids when they were growing up. I wanted to be there when they had their first smile. I wanted to be there when they said the first word or when they started with their first steps. But then I noticed that my performance at work really wasn't changing. It wasn't really being affected. By the way, at that time when you become a father, you need your business to work because you have more mouths to feed, so you really don't want to give up on your work. So then what I thought is it was only fair to let the rest of my team enjoy the same situation. So I went to the office and I told everyone, hey, you can work from wherever you want. You have a desk and a chair, you have a laptop, and you have to be here for my staff meetings on Friday. I like to do those face-to-face. But other than that, it's up to you. Well, when I did that, something else interesting happened. Over the course of a couple more years, my partners and I looked around the room and we noticed that half of our team had become parents themselves. Now, as I said, since they were women, we're talking about mothers, right? And again, we didn't think it was anything unusual. But then something else happened, and this wasn't a happy thing. Business got really tough. We headed into a recession. We had a lot of competition. Freelancers started coming into the market and getting clients for lower prices. Big companies started going to big agencies that had finally figured out how to do social media. So my partners and I had to make a decision. We got to the point that we thought we wanted to go different ways. So we had to close our business. Now, we didn't want to leave all our team unemployed. We had people that we cared about. So we had an idea. We thought maybe we can go to the clients that we're working with and convince them to hire the same people that were working for them to work directly. And we were quite successful at that, which is why I was very surprised at our farewell party when the spirits weren't so high. So I asked my team, why are you not happy? And they said, Frank, because we're worse off. And I said, why are you saying that? You kept your jobs, you have bigger salaries, and you're working for companies that are more recognized than our little agency that had to shut down. And they said, yes, but now we have to be in an office 9 to 5 every single day. At first, I didn't believe it. I thought, why? Your job can be done from anywhere. We proved this over the years. Social media is something that when you do your job, it gets posted, published, it's online. Users, clients, your boss can see it. Now you can do it from a laptop, even from a smartphone, because there are apps that allow you to program and do some of the business that you do as a social media manager. But they say, we already told them that. And they said, that's just the way we do business around here. Now at that time, I realized how important this was for these mothers particularly that wanted to be close to their kids and they couldn't anymore. So I started doing some research and I found data like the one you can see here on the screen. This is from a study done in Denmark a few years ago that shows what happens to the earnings of women from the moment they have their first child. You can see it clearly. It actually starts at pregnancy. There's a clear loss that never gets recovered. Guess what? This doesn't happen with men. This doesn't happen with fathers. So at that time, I realized this was my purpose. There was an opportunity here to do something about it because social media management, at least that profession, was definitely possible without having to be shackled to the office and the dictatorship of presentism, right? So what I did is I took one of those mothers, who became my partner, and together we started helping thousands of mothers around the world become proficient at social media management so they could actually have that flexibility that they had at the agency. But here's what's interesting. As we were doing that, we started interviewing successful mothers. I'm talking about mothers that were successful in business, in politics, in sports, in entertainment. And we started asking them the same question. At first, it was an innocent question. We said, hey, what have you learned from motherhood that helps you be a better professional? But the thing is, the answers to that question kept coming in and piling up in a way that was overwhelming. Let me tell you just a few of those answers and the lessons we learned from that question. The first is the ability to take risks. If you're in business, you have to go into uncertain situations and you have to make decisions without knowing what's going to happen afterwards. Who better than a mother? That when she gets the news that she's pregnant, she doesn't know what's coming. They don't know. There's no manual about it. And none of them faces that without bravery and courage, something really helpful also in business. Some of them said capacity for effort. If you're at work, sometimes you have to perform, right? You have to do a lot more than you expected. You have to work long hours. Who better than a mother that doesn't get a break or a vacation, that has to be available 24/7 and knows what it's like to be there for the ones that need her? But there's more. Then another thing they said was improved communication skills. At work, you have to know how to translate your ideas into the minds of the people that you're dealing with. You need to know how to make your point across. Who better than a mother that has to learn how to listen or how to communicate with little beings that don't even know how to express their feelings? Again, a very valuable skill. Another thing they said was resource management, right? In business, you have to manage budgets. You have to decide where to spend your money, where not to spend it. You have to figure out how to do more with less. Who better than a mother that finds that there are more mouths to feed, there are diapers now, there's school, there's extracurricular activities. So again, if they manage, they can apply the same knowledge to a business or to work. Improved organizational skills. You have to plan. You have to meet deadlines at work. Who better than a mother that organizes the schedule for the whole family and makes sure that everyone is at the right place at the right time? Better negotiating. In business, we have to make sure that we come up with agreements, win-to-win situations. If any of you ever has to negotiate with a teenager, believe me, they know all the tricks in the book. And you practice, and you can use that at work as well. Another thing they said was the ability to motivate. When you're at work, you have to be there cheering in the good times and supporting everyone in the bad times. Who better than a mother that has the empathy to understand the person next to you and tell you it's going to be okay? Improve perseverance. At work, sometimes things don't work out the way you expect them to, and you have to go back and try again. Who better than a mother that has had to teach that to a kid that's trying to start to walk or get on a bicycle for the first time or go on a date for the first time or figure out how to manage friends when they don't know how to do it? So perseverance is also very helpful. Leadership skills, it's obvious in business. You have to get people together to get things in the right way, everyone in the same direction. Mothers are really good at that. They get grandma at the table together with your kids and their friends and make sure everyone is happy so that everything happens in the best way possible for all of us. And the most important one of all, at work, you have to be able to commit. When you say something's going to get done, it has to get done. Who better than a mother that commits for life from the beginning until the last day? This is my mother who's been, for me, there every single time that I've needed her. So if you have to make a decision, if you have to choose someone, a mother is definitely always the right choice. So that's probably why data like this, which is more recent, shows that out of the people that are considering quitting their jobs right now, parents are 14 points more likely to start their own businesses. The reason for that is that mothers, when they're faced with the situation I just described, they have three options. As a mother, you can choose to complain. And that's fair, it's your right. It doesn't really get you anywhere. Of course, you can wait for government, laws, culture, and companies to change. But your kids are not going to wait. They're growing up very fast, and they're going to be gone before you know. So that's not an option either. So most mothers figure out that the only thing they have is to take action. So the good news is it's the best time in the world to do that. Professions like social media manager are just one of them. There's many more digital professions that allow you to work from and however you want, and not just depending on one single company. There's social media manager, there's e-commerce manager, copywriter, virtual assistant, sales closer. All of these professions, by the way, are so new that you can learn them as an adult. In fact, it's very likely that in the future, there'll be many more that we don't even know about today. So there's no other choice than to figure out how to learn them as adults. So if you are a mother, don't be afraid. Be proud of all the skills that you've developed as a mother and put them in your resume if you need to. But go for it, because now it's the best time to do that. Now, if you're a company that's looking to hire the best talent out there, I have to tell you, the most underrated segment of the labor force right now is mothers. So I have 3 words for you. Hire a mother. But listen, there's a lot of companies that are already doing that. This is nothing new. If you do that, the only thing you have to keep in mind is just give them a little bit of flexibility, just like the one they had back at the agency. Now, I'm not asking you to do it for them. This is not about pity. I'm asking you to do it for yourself, because it's the best thing for you and your business. Or even better, do it for the children. Because happier mother means happier children. And if children are our future, happier children is a better future for all of us. Thank you.